advertised a 5 o'clock public hearing for the changes to our ordinance fee schedule. The new schedule is new construction additions, finished space is 25 cents per square foot, $30 minimum. New construction additions, unfinished space is 15 cents per square foot, $30 minimum. New construction for additions is 25 cents per square foot, $60 minimum. Subdivision application is $500 plus $100 per unit in cost of advertising. Exception application is $250 plus cost of advertising. Board of Appeals application is $250 cost of advertising. Anybody here would like to speak either in favor of or against these? Seeing not, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor? All right. Why don't we jump right down and take this under old business? Those in favor of the new fee schedule, or a motion to accept the new fee schedule?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
So where are they going to be posted?
Who says the wheels of government don't move swiftly?
I would think they would go online, right?
It'll go on the website.
Okay, I just wondered where, yeah. Like,
And is it immediate? I mean, now?
It says tomorrow. It says tomorrow.
Effective tomorrow.
Oh, it does, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's effective date.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the regular meeting, and we're gonna start the regular meeting with a moment of silence. Arthur Braun passed away. He was a longtime fireman in this town. He was also a fire commissioner in this town for a long time. So I'd like to have a moment of silence for Arthur Braun. Okay, thank you. First order of business is the approval of minutes of the previous meeting of 5/7/25.
I move the minutes be approved as written.
Second.
Any additions, deletions, corrections? Seeing none, those in favor? Selectmen's comments. Tom?
Yeah, a couple things. I went to a intriguing MMA technical seminar about using AI in municipalities, and I'm anxious to share with Kim some of the things that we learned there. But one of the things that I think it's important to be aware of is that most towns are now developing policies in their personnel policies about the use of AI by employees to do research and write text, write emails and stuff like that. So we might want to consider adding that to our personnel policy when the time comes.
Okay, do they have a suggested policy?
There are some, yeah, we have some, they provided some resources for that at the seminar. I see that the Shaw and Sons has done some touch-ups to the work out here on the parking lot area. It looks great. Thank you, you guys. The Communications Committee is going to be sending out another town newsletter at the end of this week. So if there's anything that the board wants to add to it, that we're going to add all the events from the events committee and stuff like that.
I think you ought to put an explanation at the end of the George Wright. I've had more phone calls and been buttonholed about that more times. We got to explain to people that there are two separate contracts. The DOT contract requires the road to be hooked back up.
Right.
The IF&W contract is going to tear out the end of the road. So it's your government, it's your federal government at work.
So we're meeting on Friday, so I'll bring that up at the meeting.
what kind?
3.
Okay.
And I think everybody knows this already, but the Community Resilience Grant was awarded to Woolwich among about 100 other towns, and Phippsburg is also one of them. We hope to work closely with them.
Aroostook and Georgetown.
Oh, they both?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we did do that.
And West Bath, actually.
So, yeah, so we might do a lot of teamwork in the area, but the work for that will be starting up soon, I think, and then it's 2 years old. It'll end in May of
How much was the grant for?
$75,000.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, the around St. Georgetown ones were not vulnerability studies, so.
They've already done that.
Yeah,
I know.
right, yeah.
And not everybody's doing the same work that this was for, but yeah, there's a lot of people that won grants for that. That's it for me.
Okay, Allison.
A couple things. One is, Tommy and I and Rob helped out a couple of weeks ago with DEP. Bath Water District did a survey of the watershed around the lake, and so we spent a good chunk of the day in teams going out and learned a lot from the DEP folks and looking for erosion and things like that, sort of water quality stuff. I don't remember much of it, but except that there were a lot of ticks out there. The other thing I was going to mention from the legislature is that there was a bill to bring back LD1. We killed it in the House and it's been tabled in the Senate. If it stays tabled, then it won't come back. Even if it comes back on the floor, I think there's enough interest to keep it dead. So.
Why would somebody want to bring it back? What was the onus of the bill?
The assumption is that it keeps us from being wild overspenders.
Property tax control, right?
Yeah. It addresses a problem that was a problem apparently back in 2005. I mean, this is when it went into effect. So anyway, I just got my eyes on it. I pulled out the same floor speech that I gave last year.
Thank you. Dale.
I see this progress on paving the middle road that they marked out for the shimming and all that stuff.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
The signs are uncovered, warning people, so there's progress. When you live on that road, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I spoke with Ruth this afternoon from Kelt, and the funding is still there. The permitting is still going forward, and they hope to go to award the project and start construction over the winter. There's been, I don't know if you guys.
So this is the end of George Wright.
Yeah, end of George Wright. So yeah, so obviously the end of George Wright is closed. Today, the biggest problem today was Reed opened the gate to allow trucks to travel back through the George Wright Road.
Okay.
So people went by, saw that, thought the road was open. The pavement that they put down is going to stay. It's just it's a tie-in from Route 1, what was disturbed.
But they also wrapped that guardrail all the way around, almost back to where.
Yeah, they're still going to have well, that's true. They're still going to have an entrance to their dike property and all that. And don't forget, Devin Eaton said that they anticipate putting a gate up off of Route 1 there. But anyway, but back to Ruth. So Albert Moore and Kim, I think you've been in on this. So Kristen and Ruth and the surveyor are still working with Albert to do that release of the intertidal. And they've come to an agreement, and hopefully.
We did that.
No, not the actual release of the No, there was survey work done, this, that, and the other. And his biggest holdup is he's worried about people using the boat ramp and then going down the shore on the property.
Yeah,
so
okay.
they've agreed to put
fence?
some signage and then maybe a fence just from the edge of the driveway down that short distance.
Okay.
But anyway, I think it's all going to work out, and so stay tuned for that. That's it.
I have nothing tonight. Public comments. Now is the time to talk to us about anything that's not on the agenda. Debbie.
The annual Town of Woolwich Memorial Day service will be Monday at 6 o'clock at Woolwich, Wisconsin Baptist Church.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. Town administrators report.
So Dale Reno painted the front doors, not the front ones, side doors, and the ramp. I think they look very nice.
Great.
They
Yeah,
really
looks nice.
make the whole building pop, and they match the sign out front. I would like to look into replacing the ramp in the near future because it isn't looking very well.
The handicap room.
Yeah.
Paint done doesn't
Yeah,
take-
I asked if they were gonna put another coat on it, and he said, no, we're not gonna bother because it doesn't look good anyway. The ramp needs to be replaced.
Well,
So-
if you remember last year, I said that we should replace that, and Dale looked at it and said it looked great.
I was just saying, that's what I
Yeah,
remember.
I remember, yeah,
Remember
and
Dale
then
looked-
how he's changed his mind.
Yeah.
But I also ran into Dale the other day, and I have asked him to paint the bathrooms in the town office. They're just looking a little beat up, so I've got plenty of money in the budget to do that, so hopefully he can get that done before the end of the fiscal year. And last thing is, the speed sign is gonna be leaving at the end of this week, or the beginning of next week, and I wanna thank Jason for moving it around and placing it in different spots. I don't know if it deterred anybody from speeding, but
Always
it was
does.
nice while we had it.
They like to speed up, set it off. See what it does.
Yeah, I don't know if it did anything at
Nice
Woodbridge,
season to
but
get to 99, right?
Yeah, right.
yeah. So that'll be going away on Tuesday, so.
So real quick to follow up on Dale, you had a conversation, Sean, with Dale.
Yep.
And you did too, right, Kim?
Yes,
And he knows about the North Station.
He does know about
stuff.
the North
All right, So
Station,
I did
yes.
write that on that, you
Yes.
noticed this evening, I wrote that on the
Yeah.
thing. So just,
yep.
you got, Sean?
I'm
Did
gonna
he give
follow-
you any kind of,
He said soon.
it's okay.
I'm gonna give him a
But
week and then I'm gonna check back in.
Don't call me, call him.
Then, yeah,
Tell him he will get his check soon.
yeah,
Well, we just want to make sure he was doing what he told you to do.
right, yeah, absolutely.
Or make sure he got all covered, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's all I have.
I was just gonna thank Kim she sent out a note to the select boards in the other towns in the county to sort of feel them out about payment of the county assessment, and was collecting the responses, so thank you.
What did you get for responses?
Pretty unanimous.
Basically, they're all unanimous of doing 2 payments or
Or
monthly.
monthly.
Monthly,
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
but I don't know.
We haven't heard from Bath.
Bath and Bowden. Yeah, I don't think I heard from Bodenham either.
Richmond?
I did hear from
Okay,
Richmond,
all right.
yeah.
I'm gonna I'm gonna be down at the Georgetown Select Board next week, and so I know it's on the agenda.
Yeah, I never heard
so-
from Bath or Bowden or Bodenham, I don't think.
Okay, all right.
Right, road commissioners report, Jack.
All quiet, Kim?
Yes,
We've been doing our normal maintenance and so on and so forth. Been grading. We was able to, the millings that come off the Fawcett Road that was dumped at the shop, the hot top millings, I made a deal with a hot top company and swapped gravel for them. And so they brought out $5,000 worth of crushed gravel and hauled the millings away. So it worked out quite well.
Are they gonna fair in along the edges of the mountain road where they ground it?
What's down right now is just the shim. They're coming back into the surface, but due to weather, that didn't help. And CMP is 99.9% out of the mountain area. And they thought it might be well just to hold up for a little bit.
Yep.
So that's gonna be all resurfaced. Whatever you see that is ground will be, yes, matched in.
Good.
So it'll be a good job. They've done a, we're getting,
I was impressed with what they did last year.
we're getting a good bang for our buck, if you will, because it's a top draw job and should be very good. That should get us many years into the future.
Anybody have any questions for Jack? Thank you. Codes officer, Mike.
Since your last meeting, I've issued 3 building permits, a new house, residential solar, and a deck, and 2 plumbing permits, a septic, and 1 internal plumbing. Other than that, just handling a couple minor complaints and stuff, but all going well.
Anybody have any questions?
Just a quick one, Tommy, you asked me this, but Mike, has anybody been issued an ADU permit? Has anybody?
No,
Nobody's
we had
gone.
no application. We had 1 application, but it wouldn't work, but this is right when I first started.
Right, so there has been none.
No.
Okay, I misunderstood
Well,
that.
I think you saw accessory dwelling on the report.
I saw it. I
yeah.
was-
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Allison, I'm sorry. Allison mentioned accessory dwelling, I said, I don't think there's been any ADUs, but,
No,
Okay,
I use different words.
yeah, wow. And those would go to the planning board anyway,
They
right?
go, planning board has to approve them, that's correct.
Okay.
there are some a whole host of housing bills coming. I don't know whether you've been paying attention to them, but as soon as they get sorted out, I'm gonna chat about them.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm happy about it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Good, thanks, Mike. EMS.
We've responded to 22 calls so far in April. Another busy month, staying busy. Had 21 patients, 14 transported. We had to call MC1 6 times. We responded mutual aid to Dresden once, and we actually called Wiscasset to come twice when we had 3 calls going on at once, so obviously we need a 3rd truck. The Maine EMS grant that we had last year, that is finalized with the state. The final report was submitted, and we are all kosher according to them. So all of the money was spent. We didn't have to return any. It was spent mostly on training materials and training and trying to keep our employees happy and with us. They opened up another round of grants for Maine EMS. I did apply for, our max again was $15,000. I applied for that. The woman I talked to said we'll have no trouble getting it. I put it toward the new monitor we're gonna have to buy before long. Thing is, and I talked to her about this, if we can't get that monitor before March 31st, which is when the grant expires, she's allowed me to put in a alternate use, which would be training and getting extrication gear. But the monitor is a vital tool, so hopefully we can put it toward that. And I'm waiting for the contract and the acceptance. So, Opticom unit was finally installed in Rescue 1. It's working well. Actually used first today and worked really well to get to a cardiac incident. So it was nice to have that. This is National EMS Week. I was up in Augusta today for the ceremony. Still wearing my dress pants. Tomorrow night we're going to be holding a dinner for our crew, like EMS Week thank you dinner. So hopefully they'll enjoy it, and we'll have some camaraderie. And that is my report.
Anybody have any questions for Dan? Okay, thanks. Sean?
We've had 9 calls so far this month. I attended the Chiefs meeting last week in Bodenham. EMA has secured us, EMA and then the county fire chiefs have secured us funds from every department to go toward getting 2 regional electric vehicle fire blankets.
2 of them?
2 of them.
Okay.
So one, and when I say 2, so there'll be 1 in the north part of the county and 1 in the south part of the county. The 2 full-time departments in the county are going to house them.
Gotcha.
So if we ever have an electric vehicle fire in town, I just ask county for it, and Bath Fire will come over with it. And that'll be a good tool for us in the toolbox. Down the road, it looks like EMA has also applied for a couple grants to maybe secure one for every department in the county. That's down the road further. So anyway, we have these now in place. So I'm actually working with a couple chiefs locally to put on a training for a regional training to train all the firefighters on how they work so far. So
They're a one and done, aren't they?
Some models of them are. Ours are.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that moves into my next thing. At some point, we got to talk about the billing ordinance for the fire department. I want to make sure that ordinance is modified in a way that it covers that, so that I can bill the insurance company for the vehicle that's on fire, so that we recoup the fund. They're $1,500 a piece. So I don't want to be stuck with a bill like that when we have to put a car fire out. So
How much did you say?
$1,500, $1,250 to $1,500, depending on the size of the
Can
blanket.
you get some ordinances from other towns for us to look at?
Yeah, well, we have our billing one. We just need to change some wording, I think, and you and I briefly chatted about that.
Yeah, we looked at it once, but there was no way to spin it to pay for these fire blankets.
They could be, but I want to make sure it's in Word so that we don't have any reason for them to not pay it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can check and see if I'm kind of in the first stages of this now, so, but I'll check with Topsom and Bath. I know they both had mentioned of the ordinance, so.
Yeah, so real quick on that, so if there's only 2 in the county and you needed one, would we be responsible for paying?
It's the town that called for is responsible for it.
To pay back the town they got it from?
No, so,
Those are
the,
the
so
county
the,
ones.
the county chiefs own this, we own it.
I see,
They're just housing it because they're a full-time department, so they can guarantee that they can get on the road.
I see.
So they'll bring it to us and we need it. But the town of Woolwich is responsible for redeeming the funds to pay for it, so. Or wherever it
To
goes.
replace it,
Right,
Yeah,
wherever
yeah.
it goes.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm knock on wood, hopefully we don't ever have to use it, but it's another tool we need, so, or we have, so. But as many electric vehicles that go down Route 1, it's just a matter of time. So, but yeah, so I've got 3 junior firefighters that passed their basic fire school. They passed, well, it's been 2 weeks now. One of them has actually since turned 18, so he's now officially a full-blown firefighter and raring to go. And that is all I have.
I have something, John.
Yeah.
At the last meeting, I asked you not to spend any money unless it was absolutely critical, because your budget is really tight.
Yeah.
Desktop speakers and air fresheners, are they absolutely critical?
The desktop speakers blew on my computer, so I couldn't do any meetings on my computer or anything, listen to any videos. So,
Just,
yeah,
your budget is very, very tight.
I'm aware.
So,
I'm aware.
just,
Yep. When is the catastrophic fund gonna be applied toward the bill for the engine?
say that again.
The catastrophic fund, that the $10,000 or $9,000 was gonna be put toward the bill for engine screen?
That would,
We utilized some of it,
Yeah, I think what we ought
took
to,
4,000 out of it.
yeah, maybe what we ought to do, David, is at the first meeting in June or something, if, I don't know if you want to meet a few minutes
Yeah.
early, and go over, I mean, you obviously have your payroll money.
Yep, payroll's coming in, I'm just waiting for the end of the month.
that we have set aside.
Yeah.
There's no problem with
Yeah.
that, but everything else is tight.
We may want to
No, I
do,
know.
because we don't know where to pull, we need to know how much we,
Right.
you know,
And I've reached out to some, anything that we've already taken care of, I've reached out to the vendors, like, listen, I need the bill now. So that's a couple of the bills that you saw, those have been things that have been done already, so that.
right, well, you had grant money for one.
Right, so I'm just waiting for I've got 2 more bills that I know of that need to come in that I've asked for, so. But, yeah, that's where we're at, so.
Good. Anything on the old business?
Nope.
Okay. Walter Briggs. Rouse it.
He's not here.
Did not. Did you remind him?
I didn't.
I didn't. You had told me that he was coming, and so I did not
Okay,
notify him.
well, we'll move
I
on.
thought, didn't you talk to David, didn't he talk to you?
Oh, David?
What's that?
She had talked to you at one point, right? Also,
He did talk to me.
Yeah.
And he said that he was coming today.
yeah, so,
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think.
I
Did he
assume
think
he
it's at
knows
6?
that we start at
I don't
5
know.
o'clock.
I don't know.
Do it next time.
Okay,
Yeah.
approval of snow plowing and bid and contract.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, well, so she's made a copy. Yeah, so obviously, Tommy's done all the fancy paperwork, and we've been meeting and going over the routes. We found some discrepancy in mileages. You guys had read most of the drafts, I think, at the other meeting we had last week, and my father was there. So we made a few of those revisions, but by all means, check them over. The mileages were off on some. These contracts were written 40 years ago, I
And
think.
the universe has expanded
Yeah,
since
no,
then?
the total mileage, no. So my dad had done a road inventory, I don't know, 30 years ago. That's all.
I think,
Yeah,
excuse me,
yeah, go ahead.
I think what happened was, they didn't have the measuring devices we do today.
Ah,
So when you go by a speedometer, it's pretty easy, they all
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
quite
The
easy.
total mileage is accurate?
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
The route mileage,
Me neither.
so for instance, one's a 9.5 now, one's 17.5, one's 16, and one's 15, they're off a little.
Okay.
There was no huge discrepancy.
No, not really, it's just that obviously they're accurate now, and the total miles is the same. And we went through and you'll see the blocks that show tenths of a mile, a little more specific about the road names have changed, some of them Wilder Road, some of the things are different than many years ago.
Looks fine to me, so.
So just to be clear though, tonight, if we vote to do this tonight, the pre-bid is 1 week from tonight, or at 3 o'clock. And then 2 weeks from tonight is the bid opening, at our first
Right.
meeting in June.
You're gonna have, the pre-bid meeting will be 1 week from tonight.
Yeah, it's at 3 in the afternoon, that's what you guys had picked.
So we're gonna send these out right away.
Well, I would think if Kim wants
Need
to.
to advertise it
Yeah,
tomorrow.
advertise tomorrow, and then obviously we can I mean, most of the bidders seem to be in communication that are around here.
Okay.
We'll make sure they know, but anybody want to look at this anymore?
Are there any more changes other than what we said?
Well,
last
what did we do, Tommy? Tommy's added we added a list.
I mean, the mileage you
We
mentioned.
added a new attachment to the contract that has rules for using the salt and sand
Oh, okay.
shed.
Yeah, and so that
Oh,
talks.
can I see that?
Cleaning up messes.
Yeah, so read that, talks about that, talks about improper use of town
Yeah.
material, that kind of thing. But read
I mean,
through
like,
it.
That was
somebody can come
stolen
up
from,
Yeah.
I think that was stolen from, Damerscott or something.
Yeah.
Borrowed the language from Damerscott as a policy.
Yeah, that would cover some of the things that we talked about the other day that you wanted to be specific about. It does have the $2,500 bid check. I assume that's per bid.
All
So-
the bid, each bid for,
That's right.
has to have the $2,500.
Is that refundable?
It is, it's yeah, if you're not awarded the contract, then
Gotcha,
obviously,
gotcha.
but if
It's to
you,
prevent somebody doing an
Right.
unserious bid.
Okay.
yeah, or pulling your bid out, you know what I mean? So if you,
Okay.
or if you bid all of them and you realize you couldn't do them all, then the town has to rebid it, so our old contracts had 10% of the bid amount,
Huh.
so this is,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, read through that list, but
I like
that's,
that amendment.
that hopefully addresses all those things that we talked about the other day, but. Anyway, that's the schedule, and trying to think, anything else? Did you have anything? I can't remember anything else. Tommy, we worked on this so much, and my father's mentioned roads, we
No, I
mentioned
think
roads,
what I saw of it, looked at
It's-
it, well covered, and
and Kim's proofread it, and,
there's still a personal touch, trust, that's gonna have to be involved with whoever does this, and so good.
but they're pretty accurate, the bid sheet's accurate, the dates are accurate. You found any spelling mistakes that
Yeah, we fixed
he
them
did?
the
I
last
didn't.
time. We fixed them.
Geez, I don't wanna see it anymore.
Well, let me just take it.
This reminds me of town meeting. It's just, you read it 57 times and keep finding an issue, but.
Not the contract.
Yeah, so right there, what you have is the bid sheet, the advertisement, the whole thing, the contract. I mean, usually that's what you get in a bid package. So yeah, mark down 3 o'clock, so I was thinking we.
I may not be able to make it, but
Yeah.
I trust you guys.
Yeah. You all set, anything you see? No?
Oh, sorry, did you want to see it again?
No.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I
Tommy
don't
doesn't
see that ever again.
Quite familiar.
So a motion to approve the bid package,
So moved.
Second.
and the schedule goes along with that. Those in favor? Okay.
I think it looks great. Thanks, guys, for putting.
No, it was Kim and Tommy, it was a collaborative effort. Works
All right.
everybody.
Work.
Last but not least, supplemental tax bill, Tree Grove partial withdrawal. Tammy Lynn and Donald Mason Doughty, 562 Middle Mountain Road, Woolwich.
These guys right here.
So you're removing some property
Taking,
from.
what,
Tree
19
Grove, right?
acres?
Yeah, they're withdrawing 19 acres, so it's quite a tax bill.
You know this, I take it?
Yes.
Yeah, 13,000.
Those in favor?
I would move,
Motion.
I would move that we approve the supplemental tax warrant.
Second.
Okay, those in favor? Okay.
Anything you want to? No, all right.
Motion to adjourn? Or anything further?
I wanted to ask if, so Tommy has been working on the assessing contract and also the description of what we're looking for. So he has a couple of things that he wants to tweak, or we need to
Yeah,
go
well, I
over
mean,
it?
Kim and I sat together last week and kind of hacked together a bunch of stuff from different town contracts, and I think, and I sort of assembled that today, and so we can review it tomorrow and
Yeah.
do the bid.
But I would like
But
to
I think
put
we
it
should
out
get
as
that
soon as
out.
possible.
Yeah.
Right, this is an RFP, right?
Correct,
Technically,
it is
so
an RFP.
we're listing what we want for services.
Yes.
Yep, I would move that we authorize.
One question I would ask about this, when I was doing some research about this the other day, a lot of towns do 3 years at a time. Do we want to consider that, or we want to just stick with the 1 year, like we've been doing?
Me personally, Tommy, I think we talked about this,
We
you
did,
and I, obviously, but I think we should do 1 year, but you could always put the option to extend it. I'm a little concerned that if we have
At
somebody.
least for the first year?
The first year,
Yeah.
because if we have somebody new come on board, we're just coming off a revow, we already heard that we may have a large number of abatements. So I think it's really gonna affect the next year.
I think we'd be wise to stick to 1 year.
Yeah.
We can always, like Jason said, we can always negotiate it and make it longer, if it works out and everybody's happy, both sides are happy, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would make a motion that we authorize Kim to put out this RFP with,
Yeah, sure.
just to wait.
Is there a second?
Second?
Those in favor? Okay, anything else, Kim?
Yep.
So Kim, I'll come by tomorrow afternoon, is that good? Tomorrow
Yeah, that's
afternoon?
perfect, yeah, that's fine.
I've had people asking for a phone number
Something.
to the fiber company.
Video?
Tommy, good question for you.
About what?
They want the phone number to call in to have the cable run to the house without signing up. Everybody's getting a phone number that signs them up for fiber.
Oh, yeah, so the thing about that is, as far as I know, there isn't a phone number to call to
It's a
do that. You
website.
have to do it on the website. Because that just basically tells them that you've got an interested party on this road at this address. So they gotta make sure that they're running the wire up the telephone poles to reach that address. When you call them, you can't order service yet because the service hasn't been turned on. So I asked them about that.
But you can still pre-order, right?
You can still pre-order.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
So
I
Dale's,
haven't paid
well,
anybody.
Dale's correct, 30 minutes ago, or 45 minutes ago, there was somebody at the counter downstairs that said that I don't do computer, but who do I call? And he asked me, I said, well, that's a Tommy question, but is there a resource
I can ask him, I can ask Simon
Simon.
if there's a phone number to
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
I got a thing in the mail that,
I did
all I
too.
had to do is check it off, sign it, and send it back to him. And but I thought everybody in town got it.
I just did it, well, I've
But
been
that
getting.
signs you up, doesn't it?
Right.
It doesn't just get you a line.
Yeah, that signs you up for fiber.
Yeah, but we haven't paid anybody.
I haven't paid anybody, they wanted to know if I wanted it to get on the list to be,
You call that number or anything, it's on that.
And I noticed when they
want to sign
ran
you
the
up.
wire down my road, they left a coil.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you don't have, I guess I don't understand, nobody's paying for anything.
I've had two people ask me about it. They've tried to make the phone call to get the line run in, and the number that everybody's getting is the one to sign you up.
Well, I wonder if what they mean is, so yes, they're interested, I'm interested, so they're gonna make sure they run it down my road, but they won't run it to someone's house unless they do sign up, right?
Right, to actually run it from the telephone pole onto the side of your house and like bolt a adapter to the side of your house, you have to pre-order it for them to have permission to do that. But that doesn't commit you to any particular
It does
flavor
not
of
commit.
service.
That's what people are looking for and can't find.
No, because I did it too, I pre-ordered.
Yeah, that pre-order thing authorizes them to put the
Infrastructure.
interface box on your house.
But you don't have to
But it doesn't,
sign a contract.
you're not signing up for service when you do that. It's just like having you have your phone terminator or your cable terminator on the side of your house, but you can cancel the service, but that terminator is gonna stay there.
Yeah, I just checked off the box that I wanted them to run it into the house, and I haven't heard anything from them since, so I haven't committed to buying the service or anything.
Yeah, I don't know, as I remember.
Although as much as I know Comcast, I can't wait to get rid of it.
One thing I'd like to offer up though is that I know that some people have had issues with the utility trucks digging up driveways or whatever, and they're perfectly ready and willing to accommodate that. But let me know and I'll batch requests into Simon because he wants to get that feedback if that happens.
Oh,
If
okay.
somebody screws up a road or a driveway or something.
There was some in town already where they went
There's been a couple.
off the road, they got stuck because they drive out to the pole, but they've tried to fix some of it, but they're
If they've missed it.
trying to be conscious.
it's been wet and it's,
Okay, good.
maybe put in something newsletter.
Getting back to the meeting. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Well,